We apologize for interrupting our Inside Story program there, but we want to take you live to Tehran, where the Interior Minister Ahmad Vahidi is announcing the official results of the presidential runoff. Let's listen in.
Also, the provincial governors and the rulers of the villages, they all did great efforts throughout this period following the demise of President Raisi. Before that, they were on top of the electoral process during the parliamentarian elections. We also extend all thanks to our ambassadors and our foreign missions and embassies. We also extend thanks to the radio and television who covered the entire process with absolute transparency. We also extend appreciation to the Ministry of Telecommunication. They fulfilled their duty and made milestone achievements. We also extend all thanks and appreciation to the Ministry of Defense, who provided very secure atmosphere together with the necessary infrastructure for this process. I also thank all the personnel of the security forces and the police who were on top of the process from A to Z. I also extend all thanks and appreciation to the Revolutionary Guards who played an instrumental role in the process. I also thank the intelligence services and those responsible for the virtual world, the Ministry of Planning and Budget, the Ministry of Energy, the Judiciary, and a very dedicated thank you to them. And in brief, I thank all the ministries, government institutions, authorities, bodies, and forgive me if I fail to remember anybody. The entire process was excellent, role model. It was carried out in a very short span of time. The process was completed safely, completely, and in a high degree of excellence. This is a legacy of Martyr Ibrahim Raisi, the late president who laid down the foundation of peace, justice, security, stability, and prosperity. We have learned from the best. We have learned to follow in and seek wisdom, prudence, and excellence. Although there were some were singing out of tune, as we have come to know, some malicious voices alleged that the elections were rigged. However, all these malicious voices were refuted by the Iranian people who took to the polling stations in high turnout. Today, we usher into a new chapter for the prosperity of the Iranian people. We hope we will take our country to prosperous horizons. I extend thanks and appreciation to all those who made these ambiances available to our people. As we commemorate the memories of the martyrs of our revolution, particularly Dr. Ibrahim Raisi, the late president, in this electoral process as we elect the 9th president of the Islamic Republic of Iran. We have culminated the process safely and in absolute transparency. And as the Constitutional Council will announce the final results, we will go through a number of phases. And I'm certain that we will be able to complete these phases, each and every of it, peacefully and safely. I extend all of you, the media representatives, as you have done great efforts in the first and second rounds of the elections. May God bless you all.
All right, we've been listening there to the Iranian Interior Minister who was announcing the official results of the second round presidential election, which was won by the moderate, the reformist candidate, Masoud Pezeshkian, with some 53% of the vote. He came in first in that second round election. The turnout was at around 49%, under 50%, a higher turnout than in the first round and in the previous election, but still lower according to Iranian standards. Let's bring in Rasool Sadar, our correspondent in Tehran. Talk to us about the numbers there that were announced by the Interior Minister just a while ago. Confirmation that Pezeshkian is the winner of the second round.
Indeed, so Pezeshkian is the decisive winner of the second round of the presidential election. So in the first round last Friday, the overall turnout was below 40%, indeed 49.92. And that was the lowest turnout since the 1979 revolution. And of course, it was reflecting on the sentiment in Iran, the people's lack of faith in the elections, that they could bring any change, whether reformist or conservative. And second, the hardships that Iran is facing. And also, partly, some people were also putting the not going to the ballot boxes as a show of protest, to show their discontent with the way that the Iranian governments are handling the state affairs. But with that concern, the candidates, they intensively campaigned. They traveled across the whole country, holding several rallies, trying to convince the voters. And apparently they have achieved, because the overall turnout went up by 10%. Now it is 49.8%, slightly below 50%. But having said that, we should note that more than half of the population still didn't go to the ballot boxes. But by 53% received by the reformist candidate. So he is now the president-elect. And
right.
The Minister of Interior has just confirmed these numbers.
Indeed, he has. We have seen Pezeshkian's supporters celebrating even before this official confirmation from the Interior Minister. Talk to us, Rasool, about the mood in Tehran this morning. Is there hope that under this new president things could change for the better, especially when it comes to the economy?
We are at Tahrir Square. It is one of the iconic squares in the capital city, Tehran. I was just talking to people. They have a sense of relief after years of hardships and the limited liberties. They have a sense of relief. They have the high expectations. However, they're quite cautious as well. I was just talking to one of the shop owners here, and he says that it is a day of happiness for Iran. They have trust in the president-elect. However, the reason that they're cautious, they say that the unofficial elected in Iran are holding a significant power, so they're not clear how much of space Pezeshkian is going to be given. And they know that all of that accumulated problems that the country is facing is beyond the capacity of one man to solve.
Indeed, this election, of course, coming after the death of the president in a helicopter crash in May. There's a lot of focus, of course, on what's going to happen internationally, relations with the West. Where will the new leader, the new president of Iran, take that? I mean, the sanctions, of course, have had a huge impact. The economy in crisis. What does the new leader, what does Mr. Pezeshkian want to do as far as relations with the West?
Indeed. So during whole presidential campaigns, in the first round and the second round, there were two main issues that the candidates were focusing on: economy and Iran's relations with the rest of the world. But these two topics are quite interconnected. They're very much related to each other. They cannot be separated. The reason that the economy is really suffering in Iran, we're talking about an inflation of over 30%, skyrocketing prices. We're talking about high unemployment. And mostly it is because of the international sanctions that are being imposed on the country. So Iran is an energy-rich country, has rich reserves of gas and oil, but it's not able to sell. The domestic production is not satisfactory at all, and it's not able to appeal to the foreign investments. So that's why now Masoud Pezeshkian, the reformist candidate, throughout all of his campaign, he was focusing on that.
Right.
The disaster is the international sanctions that are being imposed on Iran, and when he's elected, he's going to renegotiate a nuclear deal with the West, and he was saying that this is the only way to remove the sanctions. And by doing that, he's going to open Iran up to the world.
Right.
However, once again, we come to the point that how much space is going to be given by the political establishment, by the institutions here.
Talk to us about his relationship with the political establishment, Rasool. He, of course, served as health minister under President Khatami in the early 2000s. And he has criticized some of the government's policies, including the mandatory hijab law in Iran. What's his relationship like with the supreme leader and the political establishment in Iran?
When we talk about Masoud Pezeshkian, roughly, we're just to define him, calling him a reformist candidate, but it's nuanced. So he himself saying that in his lifestyle, he's a conservative, and when it comes to policies, he's a reformist. Through the presidential elections, which we have, the presidential debates, we have seen 7 of them, by the way, in Iran in the last 2-3 weeks. He repeatedly has said that he is reformist in terms of the policies. However, he's loyal to the revolutionary principles. He's loyal to the supreme leader's guidelines. And he was saying that he's not going to challenge the core of the political establishment, the Islamic establishment in the country. He is for the revolution, and he's defending the position of Iran regarding such stuff. However, he was also focusing on a certain model of the democracy as well. He was saying that people are suffocating from the lack of the liberties, or these limited liberties particularly are now disturbing particularly the youth of Iran. He was focusing on social justice, the equal rights, and he was promising a more space for women in the country, because Iran also has a problem, it is an issue of the gender discrimination as well. But on the other hand, he was extremely cautious, extremely careful not to be dragged in a fight with the establishment, because in case if he's dragged into such a fight, such a tension with the political establishment, security establishment here, he's afraid that his policies are going to be paralyzed. He's going to face a resistance from the political establishment. Having said that, Masoud Pezeshkian has served as the Minister of the Health during the government of the first president, Mohammad Khatami, starting from 2001 to 2005. So he's familiar with the political establishment. He's already an MP from the city of Tabriz. In the parliament, he has been working with them. However, he is not one of the most famous reformist figures in the country.
All right, Rasool, thank you very much. We're going to leave it there for now. Of course, we'll have reaction and analysis throughout the day here on Al Jazeera. To the Iranian elections, the Interior Ministry just a few minutes ago confirming that reformist candidate Masoud Pezeshkian is the winner of the presidential runoff. He beat ultra-conservative Saeed Jalili with 53.7% of the vote.